is in Revelation 3:10. But we have come out of it. We are not part of it. God's tribulation did not come upon us. We're not jumping ahead to when people are being persecuted in the tribulation period, saying they've come out of it. We came out at the beginning. We didn't come out in the middle. So that's that's all the people who have accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior. We're in heaven. We don't have to go through the wrath of God, the Lamb, first of all, as we read earlier in 6 verses 16 and 17. That we are not part of the tribulation period, and for the when I read this to Jehovah's Witnesses, verse 9, it says they're before the throne. Oh, on earth we're before the throne. I said, no, you're not. You're not with Jesus. You're not with God the Father. Jehovah in their case. Right? It says there, and you got a multitude no one can count. More than 144,000 have to get there. And as I gave you the story of the woman who claimed to be part of the 144,000. Of course, you notice we don't. It says men, 12,000 men from every tribe who have never had sex. They're totally devoted to God. She claimed to be part of the 144,000 because she did 13 Bible studies a week. That'd be 2 every day. And then she did her door-to-door stuff, so she claimed to be part of the 144,000. So the first, I don't know if they meet on Saturday or Sunday. I think they meet on Saturday. I'm not sure. Never looked it up. The first day they meet after the spring equinox, they have what we call communion, the elements. They pass them around, and only the 144,000 are allowed to take them. She was one of those that took the elements. Okay, but more than 144,000 claimed to be part of the 144,000. Yeah, over the years. She had 3 daughters. They were getting to be teenagers. One day, one of her daughters came to her and said, "I hate Jehovah." She was as mad as could be. Her mother was shocked. How can you hate Jehovah? She says, because you're going to be in heaven for all eternity, and I'm going to be stuck on paradise earth, and we're going to be separated forever and ever. That got her thinking. Why would a loving God do that? Okay? But Jehovah's Witnesses will say this verse means it's all the people that are Jehovah's Witnesses on earth. Okay? Like a lot of different denominations, like a lot of the cults, they all believe if you're not part of them, you're going to hell. Okay? Wrong. They're the ones going to hell because they haven't accepted the real Jesus. Pray for them. What?
So, verse 14, that's still us?
Yeah, that would be us. We have come out of, meaning we've been taken out of. We've been taken out of, raptured, the tribulation period. We're not part of it.
It's not the people who were beheaded.
No,
Okay.
they haven't. That hasn't started yet.
Okay.
Remember the timestamps. When you put all the pieces together, there's only one way things can fit. The Holy Spirit's given me a whole lot of fitting. There's a few things that still don't fit in my mind. Okay, and even when it starts, there's probably going to be things that don't fit. Okay, until they happen. Oh, that's what he meant. All right, we're all going to get. I think we're all going to get to heaven and say, why didn't I see that? Not just on end time prophecy, but any other things that go on in the Bible. That we will not have a full understanding of everything and see all the different connections the Bible has. How many times have I told you that it's multi-dimensional? It links all over the place. And if somebody changes something, like they do with all the newer translations, other than King James and for the most part New King James, all the others, they got errors in them. They change stuff. Philippians 2:6 is a great one. Jesus couldn't grasp the idea that he was equal, that he was God. Excuse me. In John 8:58 and 59, when he says, "Before Abraham was, I am," and they picked up stones to stone him, I think he understood he was God. Okay. When we said Abraham enjoyed to see my day, coming. He understood he was pre-existent. He understood he was God. All kinds of places in the Bible he understood, but they put in that error because it comes from the Alexandrian text. They were Gnostics. They wanted knowledge, but they didn't agree with something, they took it out. That's why there's a bunch of verses missing in all their Bibles. And when the Bible says, you know, when the Bible commands us not to add, not to subtract from what God says, or they change things to you know, to whatever they wanted. That's why you have all these different texts from Alexandria where nothing matches, because this person didn't like these verses, that person didn't like those verses, this person didn't like that for those verses, and so they're all different, and so they changed them. Okay. Yeah, hang on a second. So that's why you had the Westcott and Hort, who are trying to take all these 6 manuscripts they have, all 6 of them, all 6, and make one that fits the majority of what they say, and then do your translations off of that. Go ahead.
Some would say that's why the church is going down, because they have thrown out the real Bible.
Yeah.
And they're teaching
Well,
man-made Bible.
well, yeah. Well, I think it's a combination of a number of things. No, you know, and you know, that certainly could be one piece. See, now I'm giving the answer, but could be, but, or could be because, yes. Where we started before the camera went on. But America has too much materialism. 1 John 2:15, don't love the world things in it, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's where America is. Too many people think if they go to church, they're going to get to heaven, so they go to church for Christmas and what they call Easter, Resurrection Sunday, and they think that's all I have to do. Or they go to church, you know, once a month or something, or maybe like the Catholics, going to church every single day. Unfortunately, their faith is in Catholicism, and their faith is in Mary and the saints and Michael the Archangel and everything but God. Notice all their churches. Not one of their churches don't reference God as in their name at all. You got St. Helens down the street. You know, you got Immaculate Heart of Mary was a big church in Lansing, Michigan, where I grew up. You know, it's all about, you know, saint this, saint that, you know, whatever. It's never about God. And that's part of why, you know, and that's why, you know, I've actually been told this by Catholics. We will use the Lord's Prayer out of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 6:13, 9 to 13. They use it out of Luke. The difference is the last part of the Lord's Prayer is taken away. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Catholic Church says that's us. So don't give it to God. You had a question.
Yeah, what about Jewish people? Do they go to church every day, or do they just go on Saturday, or do
Saturday. Yes. On the Sabbath. On the
Are
Sabbath.
they very
The ones that go, you have the same apostasy going on in the Jewish church you do in Christian churches.
Do they?
You know, Muslims have the same thing too.
Yeah.
Not everybody is convicted.
Okay.
All right.
And they don't take communion. Jewish people are not taking communion.
No, because there's 7 different kinds. There's 7 different kinds of communion in the Bible, if I remember right.
Oh.
Okay. The one that involves Jesus, they're certainly not going to take because they don't accept him.
Right.
See, they stop in Isaiah at the end of chapter 6.
Yeah.
They don't want to read 7:14. They don't want to read Isaiah 9, 6, and 7, where Jesus is God. They don't want to read Isaiah 53, where he's been crucified, because they don't accept him.
Well, then if they take communion, what do they say?
They don't take communion. They don't.
I thought you said some do.
No. I said they don't.
Oh.
Messianic Jews would, but we weren't talking about
Okay,
that.
right.
Okay. So I must have misspoke myself if I said some do. No, I don't believe any of them. No,
Okay.
none of them do. But there are, if I remember right, there are 7 different kinds of communions in the Bible.
Oh.
Okay. So they may be taking one of the other 6. But I don't know that because I have not been to a synagogue to go to a Jewish service.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Do they have a Bible or something?
They use the Old Testament and the Torah,
First 5
the
books.
Pentateuch and the first 5 books, and then they have the Talmud, which is not very good at all, and they kind of make that equal with the Bible. Okay. How you're supposed to live your lives or whatever.
Oh.
See, and I put the verses in the write-up. It all dates back to when Jesus was being crucified, and the people said, "Give us Barabbas and crucify Jesus, and let the blood of Jesus be on us and on our children." They never gave a time period, so God determines a time period. Hosea 6, 1 to 3, he tells us tells the Jews what that time period day to God, we already know, is 1,000 years. Was it Isaiah 9, Psalms 90 verse 4, and 2 Peter 3, 8, and you probably had verse 9 with it. Day to God is 1,000 years. Day to God, 1,000 years is but yesterday. And he says, after 2 days, 2,000 years, I will come to you in the third day. We're now in that third day. Israel has become a country. The timetable starts. The timing starts. The generation that's alive will not die off before the end comes, or before all these things happen, as it says in Matthew 24, meaning the tribulation period, and that's defined in Psalms 90 verse 90 verse 10. A generation of 70 and maybe 80 years. We're beyond the 70 years for the 70 years for the tribulation period to occur from Israel becoming a country. So now we're at 80 years. So that would mean, that in the rapture of the church has to happen before that. Sometime between now and 2020, the rapture of the church, if I'm reading the Bible correctly, has to occur, and there's heavy signs for 2017. And I'm basing that on 80 years would be 2028, but if the Battle of Armageddon happens on Day of Atonement, the last one is in the fall, October of 2027, back up 7 years for the start of the tribulation period. You're 2020, the rapture occurring, church occurring before that. That's that small window that we're looking at right now. So we have the 144,000. We have the great multitude in heaven. In chapter 8, verse 1, the seventh seal is opened and silence in heaven for about the space of a half an hour. Because there's no time in heaven, that's why it says about the space of a half an hour. What Earth would understand as a half an hour. That's about what's going to happen. But we don't see what actually happens until we get to Revelation 11. For every judgment, the seventh seal judgment, the seventh trumpet judgment, where people don't necessarily understand what's going on, they think it's an opening into something else, something has to happen, otherwise it's not a judgment. There would be 6 seal judgments. There would be 6 trumpet judgments. So there has to be something, and I wrote those up, wrote up that concept in the questions and answers as part of the write-up. So something, the seal is opened, and then it goes on to talk about the first 6 trumpet judgments. And I see that they're intermixed together, that you have the 7th trumpet judgment open, and then you have what happens afterwards to show that this other stuff happens at the same time. That God uses that concept. He does the same thing with the 7th trumpet judgment, with Satan being kicked out of heaven and the Jews running off to Petra. You have the same concept going on. They're intermixed with each other. Go ahead.
How do you know there's no time in heaven?
Because, it says there's no day or night, so if the sun doesn't go down, you don't end the day.
Where's that at?
Look it up.
Okay.
Your turn.
He's adding to the King James.
Yes, what?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it says that the sun doesn't go down. Even during the millennium, you can read that Jesus is the light, and he's the light all the time. The sun and the moon are still out there, but they're not going anywhere. They're just sitting out there. Okay, Jesus Christ is the real light for the millennial kingdom. All right. So there are no days. See, and a secondary meaning to 1 Thessalonians 5, 1-11. We're children of the light, not children of darkness. We're children of the day, not children of the night. And the rapture of the church is going to come as a thief in the night. That's chapter 4, right before it. Okay, so you see it in context. All right. I lost you there, didn't I?
No, I'm just thinking about something else.
I think time is,
You had
time is
that
for
look.
mankind.
Yeah.
not God.
All right.
Thank you.
So,
Who cares
what?
I mean, time was made for man, not
Right,
God.
yeah,
God
yeah.
who's going to care?
Yeah, we live forever.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, 10,000 years, right?
Yeah.
Means nothing. In time, it never ends. We're going to have peace and contentment and whatever job God has for us. What I'm looking for is that new name written down in glory, because I hate mine.
Do you think there's any truth to that? They say there's different planes that things are going on, like. the
There's
passing
thousands
on-
of planes in the sky right now.
No, not that kind. You know,
You knew I was gonna
they
say that.
Dimensions.
dimension, there,
Yeah.
okay. Forget
Well,
the plane,
heaven,
forget the
heaven
dimension.
is a different dimension, all right? There were supposed to, during creation, there were supposed to be multiple dimensions. Of course, they get that from devolution, you know, the Big Bang,
Yeah.
okay? Which, you know, we don't adhere to. We know that our God didn't need to do a Big Bang to create everything. You know, he spoke the universe into existence, okay? The world is 6,000 years old. I'm not, I want to talk to Pastor Fred, because he's the one that teaches creationism. You know, God could have made, and probably did, make the whole universe except Earth, except finalizing Earth, long time ago. He could have done it, okay? So that when the light gets here, got here in its own time and, whatever else, and, had everything going. Remember, he said in the beginning, it says, the earth was here, was void without form, things were void without form. That there's water all over the earth or whatever, and then he put the land on it, okay? So where do you, when he put the land on it, do you think that's where the water came for the flood, because he put the land on top of the water? Okay? And then when the flood came, he just, when he cracked the earth, and the weight of the land that was above where the oceans are, squeeze it down just like squeezing any kind of container and squirting stuff out of it. Okay? So that's why the water shot up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? As a
I'll
possibility?
take that.
Okay. Of course, you guys take everything I say anyway.
I don't.
There was a whole bunch of people on the earth already. There was already.
Yes, it is suspected that in the Middle East alone, that's where everybody was, in the Middle East. Somewhere, there could have been somewhere between 8 and 14 billion people already on Earth. Okay? Remember, people lived a long time. Methuselah lived to be 969 years old.
That's right.
Now, he died 1 week before the flood occurred. God gave, Noah was his grandson, gave him a week to mourn before the flood came, okay? And then, killed everybody on earth because and he said he wouldn't do it again. Of course, there's no more water underneath what's down at the bottom anymore. He says, I'll do it with fire next time. So, when God says you're done, you're fired, he really means that.
Yeah. No yellow slip.
That's
What?
bad.
No yellow slip.
Yeah,
Big slip.
okay.
Or pink slip.
Time's done.
Oh.
We'll begin next week with the same concept. Revelation 8 and the first 6 trumpet judgments occurring, and hopefully you understand them.